Well, today we're going to be taking a look at and reading The Night Before the 4th of July by Natasha Wing. And the art of this book is done by Amy Wummer. 'Twas the night before July 4th, and all across the USA, Americans were gearing up for Independence Day. Mom tied up the bunting while I gave Dad a hand. We hung up the flag from our porch stand. And there, of course, you can see the bunting, ribbon-like material on the fence with red, white, and blue. That night we both slept, sprawled out in our beds, with visions of fireworks popped in our heads. And quickly, there they are sleeping, I think. It looks like they are, with their two respective dogs. The next morning we dressed up in red, white, and blue. I even wore stars, one on each of my shoes. And I think the dog likes the stars on my shoes. And of course there's Mom and Dad. We lined up on Main Street. Look, here comes the parade floats. Hooray for the marching band and the 4-H club goats. Look at the goat there chewing on the banner. You know, goats eat anything and everything. Remember that if you ever get a goat. The mayor tossed candy. I shouted, "Hear, hear!" And Uncle Sam, walking on stilts, brought up the rear. And there he is. Friends and family came over for a backyard barbecue. Dad fired up the grill as a storm started to brew. The goodies were set on the picnic table with care. "Get 'em while they're hot," hollered Dad, flipping burgers into the air. There we go. Dad flipping burgers. And there are the two little dogs again. But just when we sat down, it started to pour. "Grab the food," shouted Mom. And they headed for the door. And there they go. In hot dogs and salads and blueberry pie, in melon and corn, keep those potato chips dry. And I think they did. Everything looks pretty good to me there. We gathered in the kitchen and spilled into the hall. "Squeeze in," said Mom. "There's room for us all." As we munched on our food, Grandma turned to Grandpa. "There'll be no fireworks show if this rain doesn't stop." There they are, crowded in the kitchen and in the hallway. What we all shouted? "No rockets? Red glare? 4th of July without fireworks? That's totally not fair." There you can see the rain pouring down. When what to our wondering eyes should appear when the rain suddenly stopped and the sky was now clear. And there they are, trudging out on the wet ground, but at least the sky is clear. We piled in the car and drove to the park. We threw down a blanket as it began to grow dark. We snapped glow sticks on our wrists and glow halos in our hair. Dad lit the sparklers. We drew circles in the air. There they are. You could easily see them at night. The first firework was launched high into the night. It bloomed like a flower, exploding with light. "Whiz, crackle, boom! Woo-hoo!" cheered the crowd, but my brother covered his ears and whimpered, "It's too loud." Poor little guy. The band played the national anthem. Dad sang, "Oh, Can You See?" But that's when I covered my ears because he was way out of key. And now the grand finale. Wow, the best I've seen yet. A sky filled with color. A show I'll never forget. And there we have Dad singing. And of course, you can see the fireworks. When the last fireworks fizzled like a fairy dust in the sky, we all cheered and shouted, "Happy 4th of July." And I hope it's the best 4th of July ever for all of you.